like your come up, man, like how you got into boxing and how that kind of whole journey started from your end.
I started kickboxing at 15. I was doing Muay Thai at a local gym in Melbourne, Sunshine, and I moved to boxing at 16 and a half. But no, I played team sports. My parents got me into basketball first. Like, in your family, they just put you into a sport and you just do it.
Yeah. Naturally get put into it. Yeah. What nationality are you, by the way, bro?
Maltese.
Maltese. Okay. Yeah.
So I was playing basketball, then I was a goalkeeper for indoor soccer, and I was really good, man. I was a real good goalkeeper. Like, as a kid, I loved standing out, you know what I mean? Like, because in team sports, there's like so many people, and I wanted to stand out. So I guess that's why I was a goalkeeper, you know what I mean? It's a different kind of position. And then we used to have like backyard and like garage like, boxing with like myself and our mates from other schools and that. And then, I was a real tough kid, man. Like, I could take so many punches. And then, one guy just said to me one day, he goes, man, do you want to come to the gym and train with us? I go, what do you do? He's like, Muay Thai. So, I went, as a, when you're a kid, you get excited and that. Like,
yeah.
That's how I got into, like, kickboxing. And then I just, from there, went to a boxing gym, got bashed by a boxer, and then I just started boxing.
Yeah. Did you, at that point, like, did you have not so much a preference, but did you notice like little differences between when you were doing Muay Thai and then when you went and did boxing and stuff, like in terms of just both sports in its entity? Like, did you notice little differences? And
Muay Thai, like, it's so different. Like, you gotta watch out for leg kicks and head kicks and punches, and your stance is so different. So the main thing I noticed was the stance. Like, Muay Thai, you don't really like sit on your shots and stuff. You're really like your front legs like bouncing and like, you know what I mean? Like, you're real front on. And so I went to the boxing gym and I sparred this boxer for the first time after like a week or two of boxing training. It was just like fast, just in and out. Like it was just so quick, and it took me a long time to kind of adjust to it.
At what point did you feel like you were going to take it like serious, like professional, and kind of go down that lane?
I don't know, man. Like I was training at a boxing gym in Footscray. A lot of like, I don't know, there's a lot of people around. I wanted to like show that I was a tough boxer, and there's people in the gym I looked up to. And I had my first fight in 2007. I lost that fight. I lost 2 of my first 5 fights, and then I just loved it, man. Like, just the like walking out to a crowd, like fighting, and like being known as that's Jolly's the boxer, like it was more. I didn't have too many goals at the start. It was just like I want to start boxing and I want to fight. And then my dream turned into like wanting to walk out to a song. There was this fight where Mike Tyson fought. I forget who he fought. It was. I don't think it was Buster Douglas, but he walked out and he looked real scary. He walked out to like 2-pack when he walked out too. And I always said I want to walk out to a song like that, man, in front of a big crowd.
Was it the intro to the Dmx album? That song?
Yeah.
Where it goes doon, and then he just starts walking out. Yeah, it was, I think, around. Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about. It's a famous walkout. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do that one day. And because I never looked like a fighter. Like my mates always knew I was tough as nails, man. I showed no emotion, man. You could hit me with a cricket bat, like literally, and I'd be like, oh no, another black eye,
Yeah.
People used to always think I was this little white boy, like he's like, real educated, doesn't wear A school and that. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's how the mentality was. Like, what can you do? Like, and in my head, I'm like, always like, no, like I know I can fight, and I wanted to prove it. So I think that's what motivated me, man. Like, I'm a Leo. I'm born in August. I'm a Leo. Like I want to be king,
I feel you, bro, because I'm a Leo too, bro. I'm 1st of August. So
When's your birthday, man?
1st of August. Yeah.
1st of August.
Yeah,
Okay.
1st of August. Yeah. So yeah, because everything you're saying is just like Leo traits, man. So yeah.
It's that got to stand out.
Yeah.
Like
That pride. Yeah, chest out. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that got me to keep training and keep fighting. And like, I remember after my 5th amateur fight, my best mate turned to me and goes, "Man, I think I'd lost like 2 or 3 fights." He goes, "You know, are you going to like, what do you think? Like, maybe it's not for you, you know?" And I was like, nah.
Yeah.
No.
That's not what you want to hear. Yeah.
Yeah. So that motivated me to keep going. Then I remember after 5 fights, I turned to my trainer and I'm like to him, "I can't fight at this weight no more.
Yeah.
I want to step up." I was 64 kilograms. I was
Yeah.
having half a glass of milk for dinner. You know what I mean?
So were you? Was that like junior welterweight or something? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
It would have been like maybe junior welter or
Yeah.
welter maybe in the amateur.
Yeah, in the amateurs. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And then majority of your career was welterweight, right? Is that right? Or super welterweight?
as super welter, so
Yeah.
69 the amateurs,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I've had 27 pro fights, and maybe 23 or 4 of them have been at super welterweight. Yeah.
And when you won the Australian title, was that a super welter?
Yeah, super
Yeah.
welter. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think what did I win first? I won a state title, and then I think it was like 3 months before the Australian super welterweight title, I won a WBC Asia title at welterweight.
Okay. Yeah.
So I won a welterweight title, back up to super welterweight. Yeah, I've been everywhere.
Yeah.
I've been in middleweight as well.
What was that like, man? Winning the because I mean, especially in I guess in Australia, in our country alone, like Australian title it's a very covenant title. So when you talk about a little bit about what people thought about you and just the perception of and then even just being questioned whether this is for you. What was that like, man, winning the Australian title? And you know what I mean? It would have, forget about everyone else, just even for yourself, like mentally, it's not easy, right? Like I've done amateur boxing. I still train and stuff. So like I've been around professional athletes, man. I know exactly what it takes. Hence why I have a love for wanting to talk to fighters and stuff. So, but what was that like for you? What was that like for you, man? Being able to win such a covenant title and kind of all that hard work and stuff, and obviously there's more doubters than supporters in this journey, right? So what was that like for you?
It kind of changed, done a bit of a backflip from people kind of doubting me when I was younger to people like, man, Joel's an Australian champion. And like, to be honest, man, the thing about Australian title is you don't have to be the best in Australia to be the Australian champion. And people's perception of an Australian champion is, he's the best in his division. He's the best in the country, which I knew it wasn't. Like, me and Billy Lamov fought for that title, and I won that title, but it went from like, he's the Australian champion. So it was pretty cool. Like, that was a goal. It wasn't even a goal of mine. I never thought I'd achieve that. But
yeah, it's still an accomplishment though, Yeah.
Oh no, it's an accomplishment 100%. Like, you can't fight for it. But like, once I won that, it was like, man, I'm the Australian champion of my division. But like, that just made me just set more goals. Like, all right, now I want to prove I'm the best. Yeah.
And I saw recently, man, you put a poster. I found it very personal, like not in a bad way, but it just really seems like you're really gearing up for a big season, and it seemed like there was a lot of reflection in your past career as well, and just your personal goals, and kind of like it seemed like you were in the twilight zone with whether you want to keep going, don't want to go, and now it seems like you kind of really rejigged your focus. I found it very personal in that sense, like it really came from a personal a space in your life and just what you were thinking. I thought it was really dope. I just thought it was really reflective. Where's that kind of come from? Is it just been this little period of COVID where you have a lot of time to think for yourself and think about where you are and where you want to go? Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, man, like, I've been in Brisbane for 2 years now. I've had a lot of time to reflect. In Melbourne, I had no time to think. I had like every second person in Melbourne is my friend. If you speak to anyone from Melbourne, yeah, Jolly, good mate of mine. You know what I mean? Like when I'm in Brisbane, I got a lot of time to myself, and I think I've reflected a lot on just what I've done, and even during these like tough times, not for myself, but for like the world of COVID. Now I thought to myself, you know, it's not affecting me, and why it's not affecting me is what I've done in the sport and the support I've got right now. I'm getting paid by my sponsors no matter where I am. I'm able to train, like, and I just reflect, man. I'm like, you know, can you imagine? Well, I try to imagine if I had given up when I was told to retire, what would I be doing now? Like, I think I'm a school teacher by trade. I worked 5.5 years as a casual secondary school teacher, and in Melbourne's West. And like, I thought to myself, if I was doing that and not boxing, I wouldn't be as happy as I am right now, you know?
Kind of moving, I guess, to even just because you fought Tszyu, right? You fought Tszyu for the Australian, yeah, when you had the Australian title, is that right?
I won the Australian, yeah.
No, go on. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
I won the Australian title, and I was in a contract that whoever won the Australian title had to fight this guy, Adrian Rodriguez. So, but then we got a call saying, like, you know, like Tim Tszyu's management want the Australian title, they want to fight for it. And so then I was released from that contract. That was with Angelo Di Carlo of Ace Boxing Group, and to fight Adrian Rodriguez, and I fought Tim Tszyu, and that was massive, man. That was a career changer. People were saying, man, like, you always bring up that you fought like Tim Tszyu and whatever else and that. And it's not the fact that it was Tim Tszyu. It's the fact that that's the fight that changed my career, that changed my life. Like, that's the fight that made me leave my fam and leave my friends in Melbourne. And just literally a month later, I was living in Brisbane.
What are some of your next goals? You mentioned that in the post as well. You got some next goals. Is it to try to fight yourself out of Australia and start like kind of going international, try to get international opponents? And is that kind of the vision you have for yourself? What are some of like the near future goals you have for yourself?
Well, first of all, where's Kappa in hopefully November? Hopefully in Queensland as well. So that's my next goal. To win that fight. I don't look past him, but I believe my ability. I believe I will beat him, and I believe I will get further. You know, I can see the bigger picture. But my bigger picture is to keep climbing the regional ratings. And to climb the regional ratings, it's good to beat guys above you in those ratings. So most of them are from overseas. I'd love to go next year. I mean, I'm getting out of Australia next year, man. Like, I want to go even 2-3 months, go to America, train over there, do a training camp over there. And with my manager, Peter Maniatis, like, he's got contacts everywhere. So if I can get a fight in America or just get a massive fight somewhere else, that's what I'd love to do.
I mean, that'd be awesome, man. I always get excited when I see like our boys and girls going overseas and fighting in the big stage, because that's what you want anyway, right? And then you end up creating that kind of pathway system, and also for the next gen coming through, there's something there to strive for as well, right? Otherwise, you just I
think the thing about going to America, like, when people go to America, you can just go. It's literally like a normal person. You book a flight. You can contact the gyms. You can pay money to Mayweather Gym, a few $100s a month to train there. I was lucky enough to go there with my old teammate Blake Caparello in 2018 and 13 as well. I was able to spar, and like, the thing about overseas is you go over there, you go into a gym, you've got no respect from nobody. Like, you walk in there, you'd be lucky to get a "How you going?" You know, they'll ask you for your record. If you haven't got an undefeated record, they don't care about you. It's like, oh yeah, cool, man. Then they'll chuck you into spar, and that's where you earn your respect. So you're going to go two ways. There's one way where you jump into the ring, you spar these guys, like the doghouse, they call it in the Mayweather Gym, and they try to kill you. They surround the ring, they put the heater on, it's already 40 degrees in that bloody place.
Yeah.
They put the heater on. They chuck you in for a guy who's like massive, like bigger than you. I sparred some guys signed by TMT, and it's either you get beaten up and like you survive, and they'll be like, okay, this guy's a sparring partner. That's the one. That's the first option. You're a sparring partner, and that's what you don't want to be. When you go to America and you become a sparring partner, you're going to get hurt, and your career will be over before you know it. The second one is you go over there, you spar, you open some eyes. They'll speak to you outside of the ring when you leave it. They'll try to put you with someone else to try to break you again. If you pass that test, then all right, you're one of our boys. You know,
you're worth the time, and then they kind of give their time to you.
Yeah, I sparred this guy Andrew Hernandez, and Andrew Hernandez was good, man. Like Michael Zrafa fought this Russian guy, and the Russian guy beat him like 9 rounds to 1, 10 rounds to 0, whatever it was. Then Andrew Hernandez fought this Russian and beat him 10-0. So that's the level of how Andrew Hernandez is one of those guys that you've got to get through him to be really good. I sparred him my first spar in America. I was still jet lagged. It was like 8 days in, but I swear I felt jet lagged still, yeah? And I thought he gave it to me. But I walked out of the ring, and there was a guy out there. His name's Jay Leon Love, and Jay Leon Love was a
Jay Leon Love. Yeah.
And he's like, where are you from? And I'm like, I barely breathe, man. I can still feel Andrew Hernandez's punches in my stomach, man. And I'm like, oh, I'm from Australia, man. He goes, you from down under? Yeah, but you can fight. Australians can't fight. I'm like, yeah. He goes, He goes, you want to do some rounds later in the week?
Yeah.
Okay, man, I'm a welterweight. Like you're like super middle to light heavy.
Yeah.
Nah, so bro. So I started sparring Jay Leon Love.
Yeah.
I did like 28 rounds all up with him in 3 sparring sessions, and like earned his respect. So like that's when I first earned my respect. I thought I got bashed by this Mexican dude. Like he's American Mexican. Like he's a real cool dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can earn the respect, or you can become a sparring partner.
What's one of the things I love diving into, bro, is just like the mental game and also just the mindset. What's your mindset like? Even just say, with losses and picking yourself up again and getting back into the gym. What's some of your thought processes that goes through that kind of gets you back up, and how do you handle losses and how do you kind of come back from that adversity?
Well, I've had 6 losses now, man. And the question I always ask myself after every single fight is, no matter win or loss, can I get better? Because I performed good in some of my losses, but like then a few of my wins I performed terrible. I think to myself, what did I do wrong? Can I get better? So I just turned 31 recently. Am I done? No. So it's more about if I'm at a stage where I feel one day I'm like, I'm on the decline, I'm not getting any better. What else can I achieve? That's when I'll be like, oh, it's maybe time to kind of hang them up. But whether I win or I lose, especially when I lose, my thoughts are, I can improve. I can give anyone trouble. I know my style. I can give anyone trouble. On my given day, I believe I can beat anyone. So that's my process right now. It's like I haven't lost since I lost to Tim Tszyu. I've won 3 in a row, and I've been to America. I've sparred these dudes. I've been to Australia, sparred the best. I give every single person trouble, so I know for a fact that I can keep doing some great things, man. I feel great. I live healthy. You barely ever see me drinking. I don't touch drugs. So like as long as I'm getting better, I'll just keep going.
What's preparation like for you, man? Like in and out of the ring. It's funny, every fighter I talk to, man, there's always something that they do, whether it's reading things or watching things. Like what do you kind of, outside of just the skill aspect of it and putting in the work in the gym, what are some of the other things that kind of helps you prepare for fights, whether it's like fight week or even just leading up into it? Like, what are some of the things that you do to kind of mentally, you know, get yourself in that headspace? Is there anything unique that you do outside of just, you know, turning up to the gym and putting in the hard work?
I've got a mindset coach who I work with. So his name's Nat, and Nat, he just helps me with like how to think, how to process certain thoughts when I'm thinking a certain way, when I'm panicking, when I'm too relaxed, how to think. And that's what he's really taught me, how to kind of just control my mindset. But I've had a good mindset for a long time, man. Like I was speaking to a friend of mine last night, and I was telling her like how I've changed. I was that real kind of shy kind of kid who just like would like have a bit of fears and that. But now it's like in my head, I'm king. I don't care who you are. Like if you're the greatest boxer in the world or you've never had a fight, I look at you like I'm the king. Like that's how I kind of, my mentality is just like, I don't fear nothing. Everyone's lucky to be in my presence. And I don't know. It's how I am, man. Like, because I find your mind can be a real big weakness. You know what I mean? Like
100%, bro. Yeah.
If you like, and how I developed this, people think it's cocky the way I'm saying it. It's not cocky. It's not confidence. It's just the mindset I have. Like it started from when I was doing my university degree, walking out in front of a whole lecture, like 300 people, having to present to them. My thing is, if someone walks out, you know, when someone's shy or someone's like kind of shitting themselves, they walk out and they're, you know, and they're filling their pages and they're looking over their notes for a while, and then they come out and they're a deep breath. And so what I'll do, my mentality is I'm going to make these people believe that I'm so confident, and I'm going to look at them like, you guys listen up, you know. So I'd walk out to these 300 people in a lecture room, and I'd look at them with a stare. They're like, whoa, this guy is serious. But inside my heart, I'm like, I'm shitting myself. Like, I'm nervous. So then I've developed that kind of mindset. And one thing I learned from when I worked with Glenn Rushton for 6 months when I first moved to Brisbane, he just said every moment you spend stressing is giving an advantage to your opponent. It's not going to help you at all. Just stay calm and just perform at your best. And that's what I do now.
Does your mindset coach, does he look at videos or training footages and kind of break down your mannerisms and stuff like that, like be able to break down? Or is it more so just how you're feeling and your perception and how you're feeling mentally? Because one of my cousins who does jiu-jitsu, he went to a mindset coach, and he actually saw some of the videos and he could actually just see by looking at his videos and the mannerisms what another person would be thinking, you know. And it's crazy. Like, and he said it really improved him when he was competing, because he was mindful of that. It's really fascinating, bro. And like you said, like you forget, and people that think that it's cockiness or it's just talking shit, don't understand how important it is to be very strong and focused in your mind, you know. And half of it is just that. It's almost like you're tricking your brain to believe something in yourself that, you know, even if it's true or not, it doesn't matter, but you could trick your brain to believe that, you know, if you just constantly truly believe it. And that's half the battle. And that's such a big aspect of it. And that's why I'm someone that's very fascinated by that, because, you know, you realize how important that aspect of it is, man. Otherwise you're just gonna crumble under pressure, and not just crumble under pressure in the ring, even before you make the walk. And someone like you could probably, you know, be a testament to that, in the sense that, you know, like you could easily, you know, crumble under pressure. I know people that, you know, have spewed, bro, diarrhea, you know, like all these things before fights, man. You know what I mean? And and when we're sparring during the week or whatever, it's like I didn't even see that coming. You know what I mean? But it's like going back to what you're saying, it's just how you handle it. You know, it's just as important. But lost my train of thought and what the question I was asking.
So what you're saying, well, the thing about the thing about the mentality in that is my mindset carries more work, so I'm kind of like the way I've got to think.
Yeah.
It puts me in a situation. So it's a lot. It's got to do a visualization. When you walk into that gym, set your goal. Ignore, cut everything from your outside life away. Remind yourself your intention of your training session. I'm going there to spar 8 rounds. I'm going to do 8 rounds at my best. The only pressure on me right now is to go in there, complete these 8 rounds at the best of my ability. No matter how I'm feeling, no matter what's going on outside, no matter if I have an argument with somebody or I've eaten the wrong food, my stomach's hurting, just go in there. Your goal is 8 rounds. Do your best. So that's my mentality. I'm massive on visualization, man. If you like after we finish this, man, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to spend an hour in the gym, shadow boxing, working the bag, doing movements that if people watch me, they're like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like, what is he seeing? Why is he moving that way and then flicking his head this way, then his legs on there, and then he's talking to something? Like, if you watch me the way I train, you see all these other guys in the bag. They're smashing the bag and then they're sprinting and they're doing bloody weights and whatever else and that. And it's so repetitive and it's so like, they want to kill people. I go into the gym. I paint a million different scenarios, man. Like I'm shadow boxing. I see a right hand coming. I slip it. I hit the punch. Oh, I've copped the punch. How do I respond to that? All right, I find the left hook. I've missed the left hook. All right, where's my opponent position? What can I do not to get hit? Like my mind is always thinking. All right, I've moved this way. His hand's actually up right now. I'm going to tap his hand, tap him to the body. How's his face reacting? So I see all these scenarios that could happen. Everyone pictures a beautiful picture. They picture the rainbow. They picture the sun. They picture the beach. They're in the ring. They picture themselves landing a left hook. Oh, yeah. They picture their hands being raised, as like a lot of mindset trainers will say, picture your hand raised before you fight. Picture this, picture that. Yeah, 100%. But you got to also picture yourself getting cracked in the bloody nose, copping a body shot, being in agony.
Things not going to plan. Yeah.
What happened then? You haven't trained for like this massive body shots taking your wind out and you can't breathe and you're doubting yourself. I picture all of that. I think all of that. And that's why I believe I have an advantage over anyone I get in the ring with.
It's such a powerful tool, bro. Like just visualization and also how you use it. It's almost like you know, say like you're sparring someone that you know that you can put it on him and then always doing that, and then coming against someone that you know is either at your level or a bigger level, and then you get found out and that could break your confidence. It's the same thing with visualization, right? If you're always visualizing just winning and just dominating, it's almost like when you find yourself in a situation where you need courage and adversity and all these things, you haven't really visualized that situation, right? So it could also go wrong for you if you don't allow yourself to understand, hey, shit can go sideways as well, you know? So it's just knowing how to get out of it.
One thing that I put posts up in this Aussie Boxing Truth page on Facebook, and they've asked me to make a video a week on just educating people on certain things about boxing. And one of the things we were speaking about was like you said, putting yourself in there in certain situations, and like and how you handle adversity and stuff and that. And like that's what I always speak about. I always speak about like when I've been in certain situations, and like because I've been there before. I know what it feels like. So like that's what we spoke about. Someone wrote a comment saying about the mindset. They said if you've been there before and you've experienced it before, that's how you develop a stronger mentality and mindset. I've done, like, for example, when I first fought 10 rounds, I was like, how do I pace myself? Oh, okay, I'm winning the fight. Should I take a couple of rounds off? I wasn't sure. Now I've gone the distance in a 10-round fight 5 times. So now when I'm getting tired after the 5th round or 3rd round or 6th round, I'm like, I've been here before.
100%. 100%.
I felt this before. Whatever, let's go, you know?
It's that's exactly it, man. It's it's almost like if you train yourself enough and enough to go through that, when you do find yourself in those situations, you know, it's funny because being gassed or lactic acid buildup or being fucked up, it never changes. But what changes is, you've been there. So the moment you tell yourself that, it completely changes the whole scenario for you. And then all of a sudden there's extra juice and all this. You're like, where did this come from? It's because you've told yourself, hey, I've been here before, What's what's fight week? What's a typical tough like training camp? Like what's a typical week for yourself, bro? Like, just say for, what's kind of like your training schedule?
It's so different to other people, man. Like, I look back at what I've done for my last 10 to 20 fights, and I'm like, people ask, how have you fought 10 rounds? How have you done this? So my last 3 fights, I'm still finding, after 27 pro fights, I'm still finding proper kind of schedule, like doing enough, but not doing too much. That's the thing. So what I want to talk about now when I train is intention. Why am I going into the gym? What's my aim? So for a typical fight week, a typical training camp week will be like, I'll set 3 or 4 sessions that are specific to my fight length and intensity. So my pad work with Dundee, that's like intense. It's fight pace. I'm tying him up. I'm hitting to the body. I'm moving. That's fight intensity. Then there's sparring. All right. So they're the 2 things, sparring and the pad work like that are the 2 things that I'll do 4 times, say 2 sparring sessions and 2 pad sessions, like fight pads with Dundee. There's those sessions. Then I'll put in at least another 4 sessions of just like boxing skill work, which I'll go into the gym for an hour, as I said, and I'll just picture things and train things and work my footwork, work my catching, those kind of things. And then apart from that, for my last few fights, I did like technical pad work with Faris Chevalier and also Frankie Pianto, who's one of my trainers too. So you break it down. There's the fight intensity training, the pad work and the sparring. There's the technical boxing and pad work, which I do either myself, the technical stuff, and then with Frankie and Faris. And then apart from that, what I'm going to add into for this training camp is I'm going to add sprint and plyometrics. I think they're really important, just that really short and sharp stuff.
Sprints is a killer, isn't it? It's something so important, isn't it? Yeah. Even the plyometric stuff is very good. Like, especially sprints though. I mean, it's just it's such an underrated tool. I always said, like, even with with COVID and stuff now, it's funny, right? You get quickly reminded, like, just how, like, when we were kids and stuff, like how basic just running was, right? Like just running and running hard, and it's such a basic movement, but it was like the most basic way to be fit. It was to run, so it's funny. So
I don't run, man. Like, I actually, like, I'm the only boxer I don't know. I'm the only boxer I know that doesn't run.
Yeah. So when you do like running, it's more sprints. Like it's much more fast, hard sprints. Yeah.
Yeah, but right now it's more a thought. Like for my last training camp, I did 2 stair sprints.
Yeah, gotcha.
2 in total for 12 weeks. Like, but for this next one, I'm going to be doing at least 1 to 2 stair sprints a week. And it's not even like running all these different kind of sprints. I'll literally just like, so in my head right now, what I've already like decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the stairs. I'm going to set it for 3-minute rounds. I'm going to sprint up the stairs. I'm going to jog down. I'm going to shadow box, work movement. I'm going to sprint again randomly. I'm going to come back down. I'm going to shadow box. The bell goes, get my water, take my breaths, minute off, go again. So, and you might ask me, Joel, but like, how many sprints are you planning to do in that 3 minutes? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm going to just, in my head, I'm going to keep them mentally stronger, and I'm going to add on more. So my aim for this sprinting thing, say I start with just 6 rounds of it. max 6 rounds of it. My aim is to do 6 rounds by 3 minutes. I'm going to do a certain amount of sprints up and down in those 3 minutes. And as the weeks go on, I want to add on an extra sprint or extra 2 sprints per round. That's my only aim. But what are you doing? And where you like, you know, are you writing it all down? You're doing this, you're doing that. I play it by ear, man. I'll know in my head how many sprints I've done. But my intention is just to do the rounds, 3 minutes, and to add as many stair sprints as I can in those rounds. And that's all. That's my only intention.
It's crazy with the running. Like you don't hear, like you said, you don't hear it much from fighters or even anyone that trains athlete where running isn't part of their pedigree. So is it the rounds and the, like you said, the high intensity pad work and all that where you depend on the conditioning to fight, like the 10 rounds and whatnot? Is that what you really depend on, the sparring and the pad work and etc.?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you want to talk about a good swimmer, okay, I jump in, say I do a bit of swimming, whatever else and that, then I go against a real good swimmer. You watch me trying to swim 100 meters, and you watch him or her trying to swim 100 meters, and you be like, he's working like on me. He's working hard, he's splashing everywhere, but he's going slower than the other swimmer, and the other swimmer's just gliding.
Yeah. Elegant. Gliding. Yeah.
Again, and he'll go 1,000 meters, and after 100, I'm puffing. And this goes back to the way I box compared to a lot of people. People say, man, how'd you do 10 rounds, man? I've never seen anyone move like you move and do what you do, and you don't run. Like, my boxing smarts and my boxing IQ. I know it's an overused word, boxing IQ, but my boxing smarts is what makes me last those rounds and go forever, because I'll choose when I attack. I'll choose when I tie you up. I'll choose when I look you in the eyes to tell you, mate, I'm ready, let's go. And I'll put that fear into you. By the time you know it, I've counted down 10 seconds. Then I've cracked you with 2 shots. You've thrown 16 shots. You've missed me with every single shot. I've looked at you, smiled. I've hit you with 1. 1 minute's gone. You're like, what do I do now? Like, so I believe that's what gets me through apart from the sparring and the pad work of Dundee I do, that gets me fit. But my boxing smarts in the ring and just my ring IQ, that is what gets me through the rounds better than most get through it.
It's it's more brains than brawns, I always say. Hey, like it's a thinking man's game. I know that's a bit overused as well, but it's the truth. Yeah, it's a real thinking.
I'm not fitter than my opponents, man. Like I might be, but like most of my opponents will be doing like 400-meter sprints, 800-meter sprints. They're sparring 2-3 times a week. They're doing pad work. They're doing this. They're doing that. They're running every morning 20 Ks. But by the 5th round, I'm smiling and they're like, "Oh shit!" But yeah, it's more just my smarts in the ring that makes me do that to them and gives me the ability to last 10 rounds.
To kind of finish it off, man, what's your views on the state of boxing in Australia? And you know, a lot of people that I speak to, you know, some of it is, I guess, some of their views is, you know, sometimes the best fighters don't fight the best fighters here. And what's your view on Aussie boxing, and what do you think where it's at, and where do you think it needs to go to be a staple, just like, you know, just like some of the other sports that are produced here, whether it's like the NRL or AFL, where that level of, you know, interest and that level of, you know, captivation from people like fans and etc. to kind of tune in. What's your thoughts and view on that?
It's funny as, man. That cracks me up because why it's funny, because I was literally sitting on the toilet before, like too much information, but I'm thinking to myself, what is my next video about? And what it's going to be about, I'm going to post, is about fighters and trainers protecting their O. Protecting the zero.
It's crazy, it's crazy. I mean, sorry, I'll let you hear, but it's just crazy. I'm glad you said that, because it's something that I've just been noticing, man. Like even on social media, it's such a big marketing tool, and it's like such a a big thing that people just view fighters with zero and then fighters with losses, and just they treat them like as if, oh, you've had a loss. Like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you know, but the way that it gets promoted online, man, it's ridiculous. And the reason I feel strong about it is I've just been noticing it, not just lately, but like for a minute, you know, for a minute, I've been noticing how like these protected records and how they walk around like, oh, you know, like they should be held to a different standard than someone that's taken an L. But it's like, dude, like you're only as good as your resume. You know what I mean? Like, so, but anyway, continue. It's because you mentioned the zero. It was so good you started off like that, because it's something that I've noticed as well a lot, like just by seeing, different people and how they move. But anyway, continue. Yeah.
Man, you know, talking about the state of Australian boxing right now and how it's going to grow and whatever else, and that is there's too many promoters and managers who become good friends. So this promoter has this fighter, this promoter has that fighter, he has a manager, he has another manager, they're friends, so they won't put them against each other, because the end goal for them is to win. For the managers and that is like, we want our fighters to fight for the big fight, make the big money. It's all leading to a payday. They're all investing into their fighters to get these zeros, to climb the ratings, risk versus reward, given the lowest amount of risk to gain some high reward. So eventually they climb up and get this certain fight that they fight. And the video I'm going to make about is, it's going to be about these fighters. They're fighting like fighters not at their level. They're climbing the wrong way. They're getting a false kind of sense of confidence and belief in themselves, and then they're getting sent overseas and they're getting destroyed. They're getting bashed, and then like it was like, oh, why don't we compete overseas and that? And you look at these fighters, they're like 16-0, 17-0, 18-0, 10-0, going overseas to fight these guys who are like, you know, 15-3 or, you know, whatever, and they're getting destroyed. And that's the problem with Australian boxing, is there's too many protected species. Yeah, I've had 6 losses in 27 fights, and some of them were against guys who weren't that great back in the day. But I've learned from every single fight. I've tested myself against guys like, you know, like Dwight Ritchie, Anthony Buttigieg, who retired undefeated, Tim Tszyu, all these guys. Yao Yima was one of my toughest opponents. I've tested myself. And I think until you can get that mentality, 1 loss is not bad. 2 losses is not bad. Test yourself, because you'd rather go overseas with a record of 15-2, where you've lost against some good guys and tested yourself, but you know you're ready for these guys overseas, rather than I'm a protected species who I'm 15-0. I fought fucking no one. Now I'm going overseas to fight these.
Yeah, go with this false perception of how good you are, and then get found out, right? Yeah.
All for what? All for one payday. Man, for one payday for you and your manager and that, and then and your promoter, whatever it is, and then what? And then you lose, and you're back to square one. You're back to Australia. You go from this $100,000 payday back down to a $5,000 payday, a $3,000 payday in your local pub. You know what I mean?
It's true, man. No, it's completely. Yeah, I mean, I can't applaud that enough. It's completely true in that sense. But look, man, I appreciate the time you've given me so far. Anyway, man, it was really dope. I've been following you for a minute, and it was really good to be able to have a proper conversation and just, you know, like just dive into just your mentality and just you as a person. And I really do appreciate the time, and I'm looking forward to it, man. So hopefully, you know, things line up, and, you know, November we see you fight and see where you go from there. But yeah, man, I really appreciate your time, and I appreciate what you're doing. And yeah, man, just keep doing your thing.
No, thanks, bro. Thanks for having me on here as well, man. Just giving us fighters a bit of a platform to promote ourselves.
That's what it's about, man. That's why I started it. So yeah, man, it's awesome. I really do appreciate it, man. And I'm sure we'll be in touch, man. I'm sure we'll chat more as things go on, man. Yeah, maybe after your next fight we'll get together and we'll reflect on it. Yeah,
100%. Thanks, bros.
For sure, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.